Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about the lunar nodes, specifically their transit that they are now beginning through the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. And this has been coming up in a lot of videos. I've been talking about this for quite some time. And so this video is coming out right on time, as everything does, in that perfect divine timing. But I know that it has probably been much anticipated because this is a big energy that we are going to be working with throughout 2022 and even into 2023. So there's a lot happening with these energies, and the more that we can understand the energies of Taurus and Scorpio, the more we can understand this evolutionary journey that we are undergoing. Not only are the nodes going to be in Taurus and Scorpio, but we have all of the eclipses of 2022 and at least one, maybe I think two of the eclipses of 2023 within either the sign of Taurus or the sign of Scorpio. And we see the eclipses really related to the nodes of the moon every year, but usually we have a couple other eclipses, like we have a couple other signs mixed in there. This year it's all Taurus and Scorpio, and we had a couple eclipses in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio last year that were really beginning to prepare us for this energy. So we began talking about it last year with that Taurus eclipse that we had in November. And I think even before then, right before eclipse season started, I believe there was an eclipse in Scorpio. So we've been warming up to this energy for a while, and we really want to understand these energies. We want to understand both of these signs. We have the North Node moving into Taurus, and so this is the energy that we're moving towards. This is what we're working to embody. This is where we are, where we can best put our energies in order to evolve more into the future. Whereas the South Node, which will be in the sign of Scorpio, is the energies that we're moving out of, the energies that we're releasing, the energies of the past. The nodes are very significant in a chart because they show us these two aspects. They show us a lot of karmic aspects. They show us past life aspects, as well as energies that we can, if we seek to embody the energy of our North Node in our lifetime, it will help us to reach and fulfill our intended purpose within this lifetime. And we talk about this all the time. We have many different purposes in life, and our purposes change and evolve as we do. But we have an overriding purpose. We have an or two or three, right? We have some overriding things that we really came here to do. Some things that our soul came here to accomplish, right? Kind of like a lesson plan. And the North Node is one of the things that can guide us through and into that lesson plan and ensure that we get the most out of that energy. So when we look at these, the North and South Node collectively, we're looking at how we're being called to evolve as a collective right now. And we really want to understand both sides. The nodes are always opposing each other, and these are projected points in space, so they are not physical points. And I'm really not good with all the technical stuff, so I'm not going to get into trying to describe in greater detail what the nodes are. You can look that up if you want to learn more. What we're really concerned with is the energy and the impact of this energy. And so they're always opposing each other. So they're along an axis, and we talk about the axes of the zodiac quite a bit. There's actually a class that I did for Nadia Shah's Synchronicity University that I may be able to have available for people who hadn't purchased it through her yet at some point. And as soon as I am able to have that out, I will have that available for people on here, if you are interested in that, because it's understanding the ways that these polarities, right, these so-called opposing signs complement each other and work together really helps a lot. And we talked about this actually in the 2-2 portal video that I just did with Pete from the Chosen 144, this energy of duality and contrast, and how in order to understand the whole, we must understand all the parts of the whole. And so we never want to look at one sign by itself. We want to always be looking at its opposing sign or complementary sign in order to understand how to best utilize its energies and to really get the full scope of the capability of energy. So in this video, we're going to be talking about both Taurus and Scorpio. We're going to be talking about this evolutionary axis and the main goals of this axis. and I don't know, a bunch of other things. There's not going to be a card reading with this video because it's probably going to, there's a lot of information here and that feels like overkill. So I may do a separate video at some point, pulling some cards to see what additional energies we can get. But for the intents and purposes of this video, we're simply going to be discussing and getting a better understanding of these energies and how it is that we're being called to evolve throughout 2022 and into 2023. So the nodes were in the signs with the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius since May of 2020. And we talked about this at length, right? Because this is the energy, this axis, the Gemini-Sagittarius axis, is the axis of knowledge and perception. And so there was a lot of mind expansion that went on from 2020 up until the 17th of January when the nodes shifted into Taurus and Scorpio. And they will remain in Taurus and Scorpio until July 18th of 2023. So this Gemini-Sagittarius axis, we worked a lot with the energy of belief systems and this understanding that we were reshaping our belief systems throughout 2020 and 2021. So really coming to understand what that meant, coming to understand how our beliefs shape our reality and our perceptions, right? And this process of untangling that, of becoming more open-minded, right? Moving into that energy of Gemini, that curious energy, that energy that wants to explore and learn, the energy of facts, right? We were also being called to move a little bit out of faith to an extent and into facts, like gather all of the information. And there was a lot of information that was fed to us throughout 2020 and 2021 that perhaps was not factual. And so a lot of disinformation, right? So it became our duty to siphon through all of that information and get to the facts. And part of how we did this fact-finding mission, right? It was a combination of literal facts and intuition and judging that with our own personal resonance, right? Understanding and feeling into how information resonated with us and learning to trust that resonance. It was about moving out of the dogmatic energy that can sometimes accompany Sagittarius, out of that black and white thinking and into a more gray area, into an energy, this Gemini energy where we're exchanging information, we're exchanging knowledge, we're exchanging theories, right? We're seeing from different perspectives and we're allowing our perspective to expand as we gain more information. So this was the energy, really sifting through and sorting through, like we said, all of those belief systems, noticing which ones were limiting us, which ones we were ready to release, and synthesizing those new belief systems and that new perception of ourselves and the world. So there was a major energy of mental mastery going on. And in 2021, this was accompanied by all the Mercury retrogrades in the air signs. We are still having Mercury retrograde in air signs this year in 2022, except for that final retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, which is the application of everything we've learned through all of these air sign retrogrades, which are also seeking to retrain the mind, right? To expand the mind. So a lot of that mental energy, right? A lot of that masculine energy as we worked with the energies of fire and air. And now as we move into 2022 and into halfway through 2023, we have this earth, we have the earth and water energy. We have this beautiful feminine energy. We also have this fixed energy. So it's a very stabilizing energy. 2022 and these energies of Taurus, North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio are really asking us to find that stable ground, to find that sense of stability, that core of stability within ourselves, and to create that stability around us in the physical world. There's a lot of things, and we're going to talk about the more esoteric understanding of what the axis, I like to call this the axis of enlightenment, the Taurus-Scorpio axis. So we're going to talk about the more esoteric meaning of that, right? As we have this journey of enlightenment. But there's other things that this axis represents as well. One of those things, some people consider it the axis of wealth, because we're dealing with the second and the eighth house. We're dealing with our own material prosperity, the physical material world with that second house that Taurus rules. And we're dealing with shared resources and accumulated wealth. with that 8th house that Scorpio rules, as well as many other things. So we may see some changes, because not only do we have Uranus and Taurus shaking things up, but now we have the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. So we may see a lot of changes in the financial front, in the material world, over the next 18 months or so. As we're working through these energies, there's a lot having to do with our value system. What has meaning? What has value to us? How do we value ourselves? Self-love is going to be a huge focus with this energy, as well as, and then how that is extended into a relationship with others, right? But that Scorpio energy is much more the relations with others energy, while the Taurus energy is that centering in the self. So there's really going to be this emphasis on the centering in the self in order to then be able to merge our energy with others. We want to be firm and secure within the self first. Another thing that this axis represents that we're going to cover before we get into the meat of it is sexuality. A lot of people understand Scorpio as the sign that is advertised as the most sexual, right? As the most alluring. But Taurus is also a sign that represents sexuality. Taurus represents the physical, right? So it's the sensual side of sexuality. We have Scorpio, which is the intimate, that intimate and intense side of sexuality. And we have the Taurus, which is that sensual, earthy side of sexuality. And so we're working with these energies. And we've seen this, we've talked about this. If you guys have not checked out the video on the Venus retrograde and the triple conjunction of Mars, Venus, and Pluto that we're going to be experiencing on the 3/3 portal March 3rd. I highly recommend that you do so, because we got into this on that video as well, because we can see it in many different ways, the way this energy is coming through, where we are in this process of purifying our sexual energy, of really freeing ourselves from the ways that sexual energy has been distorted, and therefore our sexual power and our power of creation has been distorted. There are energies on this planet that have done this on purpose, and there is a lot of power in sexuality. Our sexual energy is our creative energy. It is a sacred energy. It is a way to tap into our sacred God force. And so there have been energies that have twisted and perverted this energy in order to almost like it. The thing that I was shown was that it's like a siphoning. They siphon and they feed off of the distorted ways that this energy is expressed, and the ways that we repress and suppress it because of the ways that it's been tainted and distorted, and our perception of what sex and sexuality and sexual energy has been so brutalized, I guess you might say. It's been twisted. And so we're untwisting that right now. We're liberating ourselves. We're freeing ourselves. We're purifying this energy, and we're reclaiming it. So we're going to see a huge revolution in terms of that, and the ways that we take ownership back of our sexual energy. And we really understand the possibilities that energy holds, the magic inherent in our sexuality. And we begin to practice more conscious and aware sexuality, right? We're very conscious and aware of the ways that we are physically intimate with another, of the ways that we use that energy, and the ways that we connect with others. And we understand that when we engage sexually with another, we take on their energy. So any baggage that they have, we're taking on. We hold the imprints of our past lovers as well within our energy bodies. So we're taking on their past lovers' energies as well, if they haven't cleared those and processed through those, which a lot of people have not. So it's a lot of energy to take on. We really want to be conscious about, first of all, who we're sharing our energy with in that way. And second of all, how it is that we're using that energy when we come together. What is the intention, right? What is the focus? And are we using that to its maximum potential? So some people are going to be playing around with that, which I think is going to be very interesting. But this is also going to bring up a lot of issues I'm feeling right now, issues of body shame, eating disorders, things like that may come to the surface for healing. Any ways that we felt shame around our sexuality, the ways that feminine sexuality in particular has been suppressed and repressed, and the ways that masculine sexuality has been trained to be overbearing, right? You can look at this in some of the cultures that we have, the ways in history that men and women have been treated sexually, and the interplays of that energy. A lot of that stuff is going to come up for healing. Any wounds or traumas we have around our own sexual power, times that we gave that away or that we felt that that was taken from us. A lot of those energies are going to be coming up as we're moving through this energy of the purifying and the clearing of that energy. And those channels of energy is what I'm hearing. All right, so that's a big, big energy that we will be working through as well. And then we're coming to the crux and the core of this energy, this axis of enlightenment. And so we have the energy, each energy in and of itself, these two polarities. In order to achieve enlightenment, we have to master both of these energies. So with the Taurus energy, and this is the primary energy that we're moving into, so this is the focus as we're moving into this energy of enlightenment. It is the energy of presence. Taurus energy is meant to learn to be fully present, to be fully anchored in the now, to be fully anchored in the body, right? Taurus is a very body-oriented sign. It is ruled by Venus. It is the most earthy of all the signs. And so really fully present in this human experience. Taurus rules the five senses, what we can see, taste, hear, touch, smell, right? And so we're really being asked to focus on being fully incarnated, being fully present in this experience right now. We have Taurus energy, which represents everything that can be seen, right? And then we have Scorpio energy, which represents the unseen, the mystical, the esoteric, right? The occult. And so we're moving more into an energy of focusing less on what cannot be seen and focusing more on what's right in front of us, on being fully present here. And we talk about this a lot, this energy of being fully incarnated, this energy of knowing that most of us, right? We came from the stars. We're not from here. A lot of us came here specifically because we heard the call, as Dolores Cannon says, and we came here to assist and aid humanity, right? And there's a lot of homesickness when we begin to realize where it is that we came from, and we kind of like a lot of starseeds, a lot of the people who watch this channel, right? This is a label that you may identify, you may resonate with. Never felt like we belonged here to begin with, right? Our energy is different. It doesn't mesh so well with the density of Earth. The ways that people do things on this planet are so foreign and don't make any sense, right? Why is there all of this war? Why is there all of this famine? Why are people always in this tense energy with each other? Why can't people simply like love each other and be open and support each other and grow together? These are the questions that starseeds ask. We don't get it, right? There's a lot here that seems very, very dark, and it's very painful. And so when we understand that we came from somewhere else, we get this feeling of like, well, why can't I be there now? Why do I have to be here? And we forgot that we came here. We chose to be here. And so it's a remembering this year as we move through 2022 and 2023 that we chose to be here and really fully anchoring ourselves in this experience, in this earthly experience. And when we do that, when we fully root and ground ourselves here, we can be so much more effective. So that's a big energy, that energy of presence. Taurus energy is meant to learn to find peace amidst chaos. And so in 2022 into 2023, this is what the North Node in Taurus is asking us to do. Can we find that calm center point within us, regardless of what's going on around us? Can we find and constantly come back to that center, to that peace? And yeah, essentially that's all we're going to say there. Hold on, I got to turn on my space heater. It's freezing right now. There we go. I'll probably edit that part out, but if I don't, just know I tried to get through it, you guys, but my toes are literally starting to go numb. It is quite cold here. So can we find that peace amidst the chaos? Can we find that calm center point? Can we be fully present? There is this belief that the ascension will fully take place when everybody reaches what is called or known as the 0 point. And the 0 point is when everybody is able to be fully present in the now simultaneously. Right? So this is our training grounds for that energy right now. As we learn how to be fully present and fully anchored in the now. Not worrying about the future, not resenting the past. Just right here, right now. This is an aim of Taurus energy. Taurus energy is meant to be fully present, fully anchored, to master the body, and also to master the material world, and to understand the material as an extension of the spirit. We're kind of taught, right, that the physical material world and the spiritual world are at odds with each other, that they are very different. But Taurus energy ultimately teaches us, although they may get seduced by the material for a time, by those sensory pleasures, and kind of forget, right, sink into that overindulgence, sink into that complacency. But ultimately what Taurus is meant to understand is that the material is simply an extension of the spiritual. We are spiritual beings. We live in a universe of spirit. So nothing can be not spiritual, right? It's all spiritual. The material is just as much spiritual as the Buddhist monk who is sitting and meditating and fasting for 21 days, right? It's all the same. It's all spiritual. You can see the spiritual in everything. And so this is what we're being called to do. Can you see the spiritual in everything? And can you see the beauty in everything? Remember, Taurus ruled by Venus. Taurus enjoys pleasure, comfort, and beauty. Can we see the beauty in everything? And can we really seek to establish that stability and security, that stable, not only physical foundation, but spiritual foundation from which to move forward as we continue onward past 2023. When we hit July 2023, we're going to have the North Node transitioning into Aries. And so that's when it's going to be go time. Right now, there's actually a card in the Akashic Tarot that I'm thinking of right now that I keep pulling for myself. It's the Buddha prepares. And that's the energy that I feel like we're in for 2022 and into 2023 before we reach that North Node in Aries energy. It's that preparation period. Many people claim that the Buddha was a Taurus. And so that may be why that's also coming to mind right now. But it's this energy of us preparing, us taking that time out to simply be, right? To be more in our feminine in many ways. To be, yes, merging and learning how to combine the masculine and the feminine, but really sinking into that energy of simple presence and being and allowing everything that we do to flow from that centered point of being. So we take action, but we do it from that place of beingness, from that place of oneness, from that place of peace. And now we begin to understand how these energies complement each other, right? Because we have this energy of Taurus, this energy that we're moving towards. But we also have to be aware of the pitfalls of Taurus energy. One of which we kind of mentioned, which was this energy of complacency. And the way that Taurus heals that complacency or avoids falling into the trap of complacency is by calling on the energy of Scorpio. Scorpio is represented by the scorpion, but also by the phoenix. And the phoenix is my favorite representation for Scorpio energy. It is ruled by Pluto. It was originally ruled by Mars, and that's where we see the scorpion, right, with the stinger. But the phoenix represents that Plutonic energy, which is the energy of regeneration and transformation. And so we have to call upon that scorpionic energy to continue to transform, to continue to motivate us to be better. Now, the Scorpio energy that we're moving out of, we understand as that mystical energy, that occult energy. It is the shadow as well, right? So these are the energies of regeneration and transformation. But in order to transform, we have to dive into our darkness. And so Scorpio energy must learn how to dive into its darkness. If Scorpio energy avoids its darkness, avoids its shadow, that shadow creeps up into its everyday life. And this is where we see those lower vibratory scorpionic energies of possessiveness, jealousness, obsessiveness, compulsiveness, paranoia. This comes from the unaddressed shadow, from the unaddressed aspects of the self. And so this is the other key aspect of enlightenment. With the Taurus energy, we've mastered the body, we've mastered the physical realm. We've we've transcended the physical ultimately by understanding that it's simply an extension of the spiritual. We've brought all of that energy together. But the Scorpio energy is where we learn to master the emotional body and the mind, because Scorpionic energy, even though it is highly emotional, it is a water sign, fixed water, right? It is also highly intellectual. There's a major intellectual component to Scorpionic energy. Think of Carl Jung. Think about the psyche, the exploration of the psyche. Psychoanalysis, all of these things are related to Scorpionic and Plutonic energy. So there's a major mind energy associated with Scorpio as well. And so it really is that energy of mentoring or mentoring. Maybe we may need some mentoring in order to move through these energies, right? In order to really master this. The mastery of the mental and the emotional bodies. Really understanding how to work with our emotional nature, how to acknowledge that, how to work with our mental nature, with our psyche, and with the shadow in order to dive into the darkness and integrate that with the light. And when we can do this, both of these things, the Taurus and the Scorpio angles of this energy, this is where we achieve that process of enlightenment. So this is what we're working with through 2022. We are releasing some of these lower vibratory Scorpionic energies, right? So we're going to be releasing the paranoias, the obsessions, addictions, and compulsions, right? These energies of envy, of jealousy, all of those lower vibratory energies of Scorpio are the energies that we're releasing, and we're moving out of this possessiveness, this all of that. Although possessiveness is also a lower vibratory trait of Taurus. And so in general, we want to remember, these are fixed signs. These are signs that represent deep intimacy and also the physical world. So it's very much what's mine is mine kind of energy when we're working with Taurus and Scorpio here. But regardless, so we're working with these energies. We're releasing these lower vibratory energies. We are releasing this year as we're moving from 2022 into 2023. We're really working on, yes, we are continuing to do the shadow integration. But at the same time, we're focusing less on the shadow and we're focusing more on the light, simply by being present, right? Being present with where we are right now. We're not so worried about the past. We're not so worried about digging into our darkness. We're more focused on our light. We're more focused on this present moment and being neutral in this present moment, simply existing, being here now. So we're not necessarily all of that deep, dark diving. We're going to do it when it comes up, and it will come up, right? Because we have to call in that energy. In order to have peace, we have to understand what is disturbing our peace. And a lot of times that's subconscious. A lot of times that's shadow. So we encounter that when it comes up, right? And these eclipses are probably going to bring a lot of that stuff up, especially the ones in Scorpio. So when it reveals itself, or when we feel that we need to dive in specifically in order to shift something that is coming to our awareness that wants to be shifted, we go into the shadow. But we don't spend all our time there. We don't spend all our time trying to figure out what went wrong, right? We spend more time focusing on what's right, on what's good, on what we love about ourselves. Remember that self-love, on letting ourselves shine, on being present with ourselves. And like we said, as we sit in that presence, meditation is going to be key as we move forward. As we sit and meditate and we are simply present with ourselves, we will naturally have the things start coming up that need to be worked on, right? But we don't have to put all of our focus there. We don't have to put all of our focus, like we said, less focus on the unseen, more focus on the seen, on what's right in front of us right now, what we can see, touch, and feel. That's what we're going to be attending to as we move through 2022 and 2023. I'm trying to see if there's any other energies that we want, or anything else that we want to talk about here. We want to be living our truth. This is another aspect of these energies, particularly the Scorpio energy. When our truest and deepest desires are acted upon. Right? Scorpio shows us what we truly value, what we truly care about, just like Taurus does. It shows us, sometimes it reveals to us a deeper truth that we perhaps hadn't wanted to acknowledge. So it's about acknowledging our true desires, our true needs, our true wants, and then seeking to fulfill those and finding a positive and beneficial way to fulfill those things as we move through 2022. Of really redefining what it is that matters to us, what it is, like we said, that we value, and making that commitment towards what it is that we value. Taurus and Scorpio are both very committed. Like we said, these are fixed signs. They're very committed to a goal, right? They're very industrious, especially that Taurus energy is known for being hardworking. Taurus is the sign associated with wealth in the physical world. And it's because Taurus is very loyal, very stable, and very committed, especially when it comes to the physical world, because Taurus likes to be comfortable and well established within the physical world, because it appreciates that security. So we're really going to notice where our insecurities, right, are being shown to us, so that we can create more stability around those things, so that we can do the healing necessary when it's necessary around those things. But overall, a word that I had that came up for this energy as we're working with this North Node and Taurus energy was simplicity. Coming back to simplicity. It's all about presence, enlightenment, and simplicity. So how can we simplify? How can we take all the complexity of that Scorpio energy, right, and simplify it, condense it down? That's what we're working towards. That's what we're attempting or being called to do with this energy. This is also a massive manifestation energy. So how can we create and manifest? And this is where we learn, right? Once again, in order to be a conscious creator, in order to manifest effectively, we must have a united will. And so that Scorpio energy, that shadow energy, will show us where our will is not united, where we have a contradictory desire that has been unexpressed and unrealized. Scorpio energy will bring that to the surface so that we can integrate that with the being, integrate our will, right? So our will becomes united. So our conscious and subconscious are in agreement. When our conscious and subconscious are in agreement, that is when we are a potent and powerful manifester. And this Taurus energy and this Taurus Scorpio axis really is all about being a conscious manifester, being a potent and powerful manifester. This is the energy of the magician. Yes, Taurus represents the Hierophant. All right, so we're going to get into a little tarot here. We have Taurus represented by the Hierophant, spiritual upleveling, spiritual mastery, recognition, right? Prestige. We have that Scorpio energy represented by the Death card, death, rebirth, regeneration. And then I'm feeling that the Empress card can also represent Venus energy and Taurus energy. So we'll pull that in, this energy of creation, of birth, of abundance, right? But that Magician card, I'm really feeling that for 2022. How can we become the magician? The magician has full mastery of all elements at his disposal. He knows how to work with everything. He knows how to command earth, air, fire, and water, right? He knows how to bring all of those elements together to create out of the ether, right? The mastery of the 4 physical elements leads to the mastery of the 5th. So that's the energy that we're working with in 2022, literally the energy of making miracles manifest. All right, this is big, big stuff, you guys. Really beautiful energies. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I am a Taurus sun, so I am expecting that I'm going to feel these energies very acutely. Anyone who has major placements in Taurus or Scorpio, or really any of the fixed signs, you may notice that this is very impactful for you as well. There's a variety of other factors that can make this really powerful energy for you too. And so if you're curious about those and you want to know how the nodes are going to affect you specifically, we can set up a transit chart reading where we can look at where the nodes are going to be transiting in your chart upcoming here. So reach out to me. My email's in the description box below. There's a whole bunch of other services that I offer. Personal readings, I offer energy healings, all kind belief work sessions, all kinds of different stuff. So reach out to me if you feel so inclined. There are also links below to donate if you wish to donate to the channel. If you find that these videos are helping you and you want to give back a little bit of that energy, always appreciated. And yeah, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and drop a comment. Let me know. You guys, I love you so very, very much. I appreciate each and every single one of you simply for being here and being you. That brings so much joy and fulfillment to my life. And yeah, let's work with these energies, you guys. Let's make the best of these energies as we move through this incredibly powerful and potent year of 2022.